Imagine this. An old man with graying hair and a worn-out jacket quietly steps into a high-end store. The air smells of leather and expensive cologne, and the walls shine with luxury products. He stands there for a moment, looking around, not in a rush, just taking his time. The staff notice him, but instead of welcoming him, they exchange looks of irritation. To them, he doesn't belong here. They assume he's just another old man wandering in, maybe lost, maybe looking for something he can't afford. One sales clerk rolls her eyes. Another ignores him entirely, focusing on customers that look more appropriate for this place, dressed in sleek suits and designer dresses. But the old man doesn't seem bothered. He walks through the aisles slowly, pausing here and there, until finally, an employee approaches him, blocking his way. She raises her eyebrows, her voice laced with sarcasm. "Sir, are you sure this is where you want to be?" The other staff members smirk from a distance. To them, this is routine. Another customer out of his league, another excuse to flex their authority. It's the kind of moment that happens all too often. People judged, dismissed, and disrespected just because of how they look on the outside. But what happens next is far from routine. The old man lets out a small, amused chuckle. He glances around the room, almost like he's enjoying the situation. And then, with a calmness that silences the entire store, he says something no one expects. "Actually, I'm the owner." The room freezes. Conversations stop mid-sentence. Every smirk drops. The employees who thought they had everything figured out are left standing there, faces pale with disbelief. Now, here's the question. What happens next? Do they scramble to apologize? How does the man respond to the humiliation he just endured? And most importantly, what lesson does this encounter leave behind? Have you ever walked into a place and felt instantly judged, or seen someone treated unfairly just because of the way they looked? What if the person everyone dismissed turned out to be someone completely unexpected? And how often do we let appearances mislead us into making the wrong assumptions? In today's story, you'll witness one such moment, a moment that'll leave you questioning how quick we are to judge others. In this video, we'll walk through the fascinating real-life encounter where a simple misunderstanding in a high-end store leads to a shocking twist. At first glance, the old black man looked like an average customer, someone the staff didn't think deserved respect. But as events unfold, they discover something that leaves them speechless. What happens next? You'll have to stick around to find out. This isn't just a story about humiliation. It's a story about power, assumptions, and the life-changing impact of respect, one where the truth is revealed in the most dramatic way possible. We'll also dive into the hidden lesson behind this encounter, why treating every person with dignity matters, no matter who they are or how they appear. By the end, you'll not only know the full story but walk away with insights that could change the way you see the world around you. What's the moral? What was the reaction when the truth came out? And how can we stop making these mistakes ourselves? Stick with us till the end. You won't want to miss the final twist. It's an ordinary day in a luxurious, high-end store, one of those places where the lights shine just right on every product, making everything look irresistible. The shelves are perfectly aligned, the leather bags gleam, and every corner smells like sophistication and exclusivity. The employees, dressed sharp and smiling at the right kind of customers, are in their element. To them, status matters. Then the door swings open, and in steps an old black man. He looks different. His clothes are simple, maybe a bit too plain for this kind of store. His shoes are worn, and his jacket, though neatly buttoned, has clearly seen better days. His face carries the lines of experience, and his slow, deliberate movements suggest he's in no hurry. But to the store staff, all they see is a man who doesn't belong. Without saying a word, the employees exchange glances. Their faces show a mix of disinterest and annoyance, as if to say, "Why is he even here?" Some staff members nudge each other, whispering snide remarks under their breath. One clerk scoffs softly, while another lets out a subtle sigh, already assuming this man is going to waste their time. They size him up based on his appearance, making snap judgments in mere seconds. He looks poor. He won't buy anything. Why should I bother serving him? In their world, appearances are everything. If you look wealthy, you are treated like royalty. If you don't fit the mold, if your clothes don't scream money, you become invisible. The old man strolls deeper into the store, quietly observing the products. He doesn't demand attention or try to prove anything. He runs his hand along the polished surfaces of a few items, glancing at price tags but showing no signs of shock or hesitation. Yet, no one offers to help him. In fact, they go out of their way to ignore him. Whenever he gets too close to the counters, a worker subtly steps in his way, pretending to adjust items. It's a dance of avoidance, polished smiles directed at other customers, but never at him. After a while, one sales assistant loses patience. She walks up to the man, a forced smile plastered on her face, but with condescension leaking through her words. "Excuse me, sir, can I help you with anything?" she asks, though it's clear from her tone she doesn't want to. She's not offering help, she's fishing for a reason to get him to leave. The old man looks up slowly, meeting her eyes. There's no anger in his expression, just quiet amusement, like someone playing along with a familiar game. "I'm just looking," he says calmly, his voice steady but kind. The woman raises an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed. "This is a high-end store," she adds, emphasizing the word high-end as if to remind him of his place, or at least the place she thinks he belongs. A few steps away, other employees watch with amused smirks. They love moments like this, moments where they feel superior, in control. The unspoken message is clear. You don't belong here. You can't afford this. Why are you wasting our time? The old man doesn't argue or raise his voice. Instead, he gives a small, knowing smile and continues browsing. This only irritates the employees further. Why won't he take the hint? They wonder. They exchange more glances, silently agreeing that it's time to put an end to this. Another employee, bolder this time, walks over. His voice is sharp, dripping with false politeness. "Sir, are you sure this is the store you're looking for? We might have something more suitable for you elsewhere." The insult is subtle but unmistakable. They aren't even trying to hide their disdain anymore. To them, this man is nothing more than a nuisance, someone who doesn't fit into their carefully curated world of luxury and elegance. As the old man stands in the store, tension fills the room like thick smoke. The employees, growing more impatient by the second, believe they've won. They've belittled him enough to make him leave. But instead of walking away in shame, the old man pauses, looks around, and says something that makes their world stop. "I'm the owner." For a moment, silence falls. It's the kind of silence where time feels like it's slowing down, stretching out every second into an eternity. The workers blink, their minds struggling to process what they just heard. Did he really say, "owner"? The old man's words hang in the air like a bomb that hasn't exploded yet. The staff stand frozen, trapped between disbelief and panic. The smirks that once curled on their lips are wiped clean, replaced by wide eyes and pale faces. The energy in the room shifts, flipping upside down in an instant. How could this be? They wonder. One brave employee, still clinging to disbelief, forces out a nervous laugh. "You're joking, right?" she asks, hoping that somehow, some way, this is all just a bad dream. But the old man's expression remains calm. He reaches into his pocket, slowly pulling out a sleek leather wallet. From it, he pulls a business card, simple but unmistakable. It bears his name, followed by the words that crush every doubt. CEO and founder. The room falls into stunned silence again. The staff members glance at each other, panic flickering in their eyes. The man they mocked, the man they humiliated, is not just some random stranger. He owns the very store they stand in. The shift in their attitudes is almost comical. Faces that once showed arrogance and judgment now wear desperate smiles. They stumble over their words, throwing out apologies as fast as they can. "Oh, sir, we didn't recognize you," one stammers. "We are so sorry. This was just a misunderstanding," another pleads. But the old man says nothing. He watches them scramble, his face unreadable, as if he's weighing every word they say. There's no anger in his eyes, just quiet disappointment. The truth has been revealed, but the damage has been done. And now, the real question remains. How will the old man respond to those who treated him so poorly? The employees stand there, hearts pounding, waiting for his reaction. Will he fire them on the spot? Will he humiliate them the same way they humiliated him? Or will he teach them a lesson they'll never forget, one that goes beyond the walls of this store? The answer lies not in what the old man says next, but in the power of the moment itself, a moment that forces everyone in the room to confront the truth about judgment, respect, and what it truly means to see someone for who they are, not just how they appear. As the old man stands before the employees, their frantic apologies fill the air, but they are just empty words. He watches as their faces transform from smug confidence to sheer panic. They plead for forgiveness, each voice trembling with anxiety, each word laced with desperation. The sharp contrast between their previous arrogance and their current shame is almost theatrical, and the old man knows this moment is about more than just him. He takes a deep breath, his eyes scanning the room as if he's assessing the depth of their understanding. "You see," he begins, his voice calm yet resonant, "this store, my store, is not just about selling luxury. It's about community, respect, and recognizing the value in every individual, regardless of how they look." The employees fall silent, the gravity of his words settling over them like a heavy fog. They shift nervously, realizing that they've been so caught up in their own prejudices that they fail to see the man standing before them as anything more than a shabby old man. He was just another customer, not someone deserving of respect or attention. The old man pauses, allowing his words to sink in. "I built this business from the ground up. Every product you sell represents my hard work, my vision. I've learned that judging someone by their appearance not only diminishes them, but also diminishes you." He steps closer, his presence commanding but not aggressive. The employees can feel the weight of his life experiences in that moment. "There were times when I walked into rooms where no one wanted to acknowledge me. I faced discrimination and prejudice in every corner of my life, just as I face today in this store. I worked hard to rise above it, to prove my worth. But today, I see how quickly you were ready to judge me based on what I wear." A chill runs through the employees as they realize how easily they fell into the trap of bias. They're not just apologizing for a misunderstanding. They are confronted with their own ignorance. The old man's story is not just his own. It mirrors a larger truth that they must now grapple with. "Do you know what it feels like to be dismissed?" he continues, his voice growing more passionate. "To be treated as if you don't matter. I spent years working with people from all walks of life. I know the importance of kindness and respect, and yet here you are, trying to strip away my humanity simply because of what I look like." The air thickens with a mixture of shame and realization. One young employee, her face flushed, finally gathers the courage to speak up. "We're so sorry, sir. We didn't mean. I didn't mean to judge you. It was wrong." Her voice trembles, and tears well in her eyes. The old man nods slowly, appreciating her honesty. "It's not just about saying you're sorry. It's about understanding the impact of your actions. You can't take a person at face value and expect to know their story." His words hang in the air, echoing with a solemn truth. He continues to speak, telling them stories from his life. Moments of triumph, moments of heartbreak, and times when the world had turned its back on him. Each tale adds weight to his lessons, making them feel the real-life consequences of their previous judgments. The employees listen intently, some wiping away tears, others staring at the floor in contemplation. The old man's voice, filled with warmth yet tinged with pain, draws them in deeper. He knows he has them right where he wants them, at the crossroads of understanding and growth. He finishes, "The true measure of a person isn't in their clothes or their status. It's in their heart, their experiences, and the wisdom they carry. I hope this moment changes how you see not just me, but everyone who walks through that door." As he steps back, the employees look at each other, knowing they've just been given a rare opportunity to change. They're not just facing a lesson, they're facing a reckoning with themselves. The room hums with the quiet realization that this old man. In this moment, the old man leaves behind more than a lecture. He plants the seeds of empathy and understanding in a place that desperately needed it. And as he turns to leave, there's a new weight in the room, a promise that they will strive to change, to see beyond the surface, and to embrace the richness of every story that walks through their doors. As the old man walks out of the store, he can feel the heavy atmosphere left behind. The employees are left standing in silence, still grappling with the weight of his words. He glances back briefly, and in that moment, he sees their faces, a mixture of regret, realization, and something else, hope. In the days that follow, the store becomes a different place. The once arrogant employees now move through the aisles with a new perspective. They interact with customers differently, showing kindness and patience. Each person they encounter becomes a story waiting to be heard, and they begin to understand the value of empathy. One employee, a young man named David, finds himself reflecting on the old man's lesson during his shifts. He remembers how he had laughed at the old man's appearance, how easy it was to dismiss him. Now he feels a weight in his chest whenever he encounters someone who looks vulnerable or different. One afternoon, as David is restocking shelves, he notices an elderly woman struggling to reach a product on the top shelf. He hesitates, his instincts pulling him in two directions. Should he just ignore her like he might have before? But then he remembers the old man's voice, the passion behind his words. "Can I help you with that?" he asks, stepping forward. The woman looks surprised, her eyes brightening with gratitude. "Oh, thank you, dear," she exclaims. As David reaches up to grab the item for her, he feels a sense of fulfillment wash over him. This simple act connects him to the old man's lesson, making him realize how small gestures can have a profound impact. Meanwhile, other employees begin to share stories about their own experiences. In the break room, they sit around the table, discussing their lives, their struggles, and their dreams. They come to understand that everyone has a story to tell, whether it's the single mother shopping for her kids, the young couple looking to start their lives, or the elderly man who walks in and reminds them to look beyond appearances. Word spreads through the community about the store's newfound atmosphere. Customers begin to notice the change, and they comment on how friendly the staff has become. The store begins to thrive, not just as a business, but as a gathering place, a community hub where people feel welcomed and valued. One day, as David is helping a group of children pick out toys, he sees the old man again, standing outside the store. This time, he isn't dressed in shabby clothes. He wears a well-fitted suit, looking every bit the part of a successful businessman. David's heart races as he rushes to the door. "Sir, it's you," he calls out, the excitement palpable in his voice. The old man turns, a warm smile spreading across his face. "I see things have changed around here," he says, nodding appreciatively. "Thanks to you," David replies, his voice filled with genuine gratitude. "Your words, they made us rethink everything." The old man chuckles softly. "I merely opened your eyes. You did the rest." The moment lingers, filled with a mutual understanding that transcends words. The old man's visit becomes a catalyst for deeper change, sparking conversations among employees and customers about respect, compassion, and the importance of seeing one another as human beings. As weeks turn into months, the old man's influence continues to ripple through the store and beyond. The employees implement small initiatives, like community days, where they offer discounts to seniors or organize charity drives. Each event not only brings the community together, but also honors the lesson they learned from the old man, that respect and kindness should never be dictated by appearances. Little by little, the store transforms into a beacon of hope in the neighborhood. People from all walks of life come to experience this new environment. They leave not just with their purchases, but with a sense of connection. Each interaction a reminder of the old man's teachings. In this space, judgment has no place, and the echoes of laughter and conversation fill the aisles. The old man's brief visit that day becomes a story told among employees, a cherished memory that shapes the store's identity. As they look back, they realize that one encounter can change everything. As the old man's words echo through the store, a spark ignites within the employees. They realize that this isn't just about a single incident. It's a pivotal moment that will shape their lives and the community around them. Days turn into weeks, and the change starts small but grows rapidly, like ripples in a pond. Ryan walks into work each day, carrying the weight of his actions like a heavy cloak. He had been joking with his friends, boasting about how he could spot a loser from a mile away. That fateful day, he had made a cutting remark about the old man, not realizing that the man was not just some random customer. He was a powerful figure, the owner of the very store Ryan worked in. The memory of the old man's calm demeanor contrasted with Ryan's moment of cruelty haunts him. Every time Ryan serves a customer, he feels the gaze of judgment upon him, not from others, but from within himself. Each interaction reminds him of that day, of the hurt he caused, and the realization that not everyone wears their worth on the outside. One evening, as he stands alone in the break room, he stares at his reflection in the glass window, wondering if he's truly as good as he claims to be. But this inner turmoil doesn't go unnoticed. Maria, with her kind heart and gentle spirit, senses that something is off with Ryan. She recalls the day of the community event when she saw him sitting apart, withdrawn, while everyone else enjoyed the festivities. One day after their shift, she approaches him. "Hey, Ryan," she begins softly. "You seem a little off lately. Want to talk about it?" Ryan hesitates, a lump forming in his throat. He's not used to opening up. He looks away, ashamed, but Maria's concern pulls at him. "I messed up, Maria," he finally admits, his voice barely above a whisper. "I thought I was funny, but I just hurt someone. The worst part is, I didn't even know who he was." Maria listens, her heart aching for him. "We all make mistakes, Ryan. What matters is how you choose to move forward. Have you thought about apologizing?" The thought strikes Ryan like a bolt of lightning. Apologizing to the old man feels daunting. What if he doesn't forgive him? What if he brushes him off? But as days turn into sleepless nights, he knows he can't escape this way forever. Finally, he gathers the courage to approach the old man. One quiet afternoon, when the store is less busy, Ryan spots him sitting in the cafe area, sipping coffee and reading a book. His heart races, pounding in his chest like a drum. Ryan approaches slowly, each step feeling heavier than the last. "Excuse me, sir," he starts, his voice shaky. The old man looks up, and for a moment, Ryan sees not just a customer but a man full of wisdom and experience. I wanted to say I'm sorry for what I said the other day. I didn't know who you were, and I was just trying to be funny. I hope you can forgive me." The old man puts down his book, studying Ryan's face. Silence hangs thick in the air, tension crackling like electricity. Ryan's heart sinks as he awaits a response, fearing rejection. But then the old man nods slowly, a smile spreading across his face. "Thank you for your honesty. It takes courage to admit when you're wrong." Relief washes over Ryan, but there's still a question lingering in his heart. But how do you deal with people like me? People who judge based on looks. The old man leans back, his eyes twinkling. "You learn to see beyond the surface. You realize that everyone carries their own story, their own struggles. And sometimes, The person who seems lost is actually the one who holds the most wisdom. With those words, a bond begins to form. Ryan realizes that this isn't just about forgiveness. It's a lesson in understanding. As they talk, Ryan learns about the old man's journey, the trials he faced, the businesses he built, and the people he helped along the way. Their conversation flows effortlessly, filled with laughter and mutual respect. It becomes a turning point for Ryan, who realizes that true growth comes from embracing humility and compassion. As days turn into weeks, Ryan begins to change. He starts to treat everyone in the store with kindness, learning their names and stories. He even encourages his coworkers to do the same, creating an environment where everyone feels valued and seen. But the journey doesn't stop there. The old man's presence inspires Ryan to become a better person, pushing him to reflect on his actions continuously. He begins volunteering at local charities, helping those in need, and spreading the message of kindness throughout the community. Ryan's transformation doesn't go unnoticed. The other employees watch in awe as he steps into this new role, becoming a beacon of light in the store. It's as if the old man's wisdom has seeped into the very walls, reminding everyone that kindness isn't just a trait, it's a choice. One day, as Ryan helps a struggling customer, he sees the old man watching from afar, a proud smile on his face. The weight Ryan carried for so long is lifted, replaced by a sense of purpose and belonging. The journey of redemption is long, but with each act of kindness, Ryan knows he's on the right path. The old man's lesson has not only changed him, it has forever altered the fabric of their community. As news of the old man's true identity spreads through the community, a profound change begins to take root. At first, whispers echo through the aisles of the store, curious glances exchanged among shoppers. People can't believe the humble man they once underestimated is actually the owner, a figure of wealth and influence. This revelation ignites conversations, changing how everyone perceives each other in their everyday lives. The old man's presence has transformed from a source of ridicule to one of reverence. As he walks through the store, he no longer feels the weight of judgment on his shoulders. Instead, there's a newfound respect that follows him like a shadow. Customers greet him with nods and smiles, and even the employees who once mocked him begin to change their tone. Maria, who had always recognized the old man's worth, feels a sense of relief. She watches as Ryan, who had once laughed at the old man, steps up to help him more frequently. He begins to ask questions, seeking the old man's advice on everything from business decisions to life lessons. The shift in Ryan's attitude is stark, transforming him from a careless jokester to a young man eager to learn. Meanwhile, the store becomes a hub of activity, a place where stories are exchanged like currency. People gather, drawn not just by the products but by the atmosphere of kindness and community. The old man's quiet wisdom seeps into every interaction, creating a ripple effect. Shoppers begin to share their stories, revealing struggles and dreams, and the old man listens intently. One day, as he sits in the cafe area, a single mother approaches him, her eyes filled with tears. She explains how difficult it has been to make ends meet. The old man listens patiently, then shares his own story of hardship and resilience. His words are a balm to her aching heart, offering hope where there seemed to be none. Inspired by their conversation, she decides to start a small business selling homemade crafts. In the weeks that follow, more people find the courage to share their stories, and the old man helps them realize their potential. He offers guidance to aspiring entrepreneurs, teaching them the intricacies of business with genuine passion. The store transforms into a community center, where dreams are nurtured and friendships flourish. But with this positive change, there are challenges too. Not everyone embraces the shift. A small group of regular customers, who thrived on gossip and negativity, watch from the sidelines, feeling threatened by the growing sense of unity. They mutter among themselves, resentful of the old man's influence. Fueled by jealousy, they plot to undermine the progress he has fostered, aiming to disrupt the harmony that has begun to blossom. One evening, As the sun sets and casts a golden hue over the store, Ryan overhears them whispering, "Who does he think he is?" One of them scoffs. "Just because he owns the place doesn't mean he can tell us what to do." The words cut through Ryan like a knife. He remembers how he once thought the same. But now, after experiencing the old man's wisdom, he feels a surge of protectiveness toward him. Determined to defend the newfound sense of community, Ryan gathers his courage. He approaches the group, heart racing. "You know, the old man is just trying to help. We could all use a little kindness, especially these days." His voice trembles, but there's a fire in his words. The group scoffs, their laughter harsh and cold. But Ryan stands firm, refusing to back down. "Maybe if you got to know him, you'd see he's not what you think." His words hang in the air, a challenge that echoes long after he walks away. Meanwhile, the old man continues to weave his magic, his presence creating bonds between strangers. The store, once just a place to shop, now becomes a sanctuary of understanding and support. People share their talents, from cooking classes to book readings, each event bringing them closer together. The old man's impact reaches beyond the store, inspiring acts of kindness throughout the neighborhood. People begin to help each other more, whether it's offering rides to those in need or organizing community cleanup events. It's as if the spirit of generosity has been ignited, spreading like wildfire. But as the community grows stronger, the dissenting voices also grow louder. Tensions rise, and the air thickens with anticipation. The old man senses the change in the atmosphere. He knows that while many have embraced this new way of thinking, others are unwilling to let go of their preconceived notions. As he walks through the store, he can feel the weight of the stares on him again. But this time it's different. Instead of shame, there's a determination in his heart. He knows he must continue to fight for the community he believes in, to help others see the value in every individual, regardless of their appearance or background. The stage is set for a confrontation that could either solidify the bonds of the community or tear them apart. The old man, now more than just a figure of authority, stands at the center of it all, ready to defend the unity he has helped create. The question remains, will the community rise together or fall victim to the divisions that once ruled their lives? The tension hangs thick, and the future is uncertain. But one thing is clear: the old man has ignited a spark that cannot be easily extinguished.